is a narration by Tales of Terra. Alpharius shrugged, the enamelled scales of his armour shimmering with the gesture's movement. We did not need to kill them, that is true. We could have waited for you to grind your way through their troops, step by tedious step. The future cannot be won by a war waged in shadows. It will not be won any other way. Then that future will be dead before it can begin. Do not moralise at me, brother, spat Alpharius. And now it was his turn to flick from control to anger. Would the deaths of all those you would have killed been acceptable because they died in open battle? Yes, said Dorn. Alpharius held Dorn's gaze. I think we see the universe very differently, Rogal. No, I do not think we see the same universe at all. They looked at each other, both of their faces set, so similar for all their differences. The end matters, said Alpharius at last. Victory matters. With victory, we can build dreams, but without victory, they remain just dreams. Everything else is just delusion. And how would you salvage a dream from your victory? Here and now, on this world. We cannot trust the World Prince to rule for us, and you have removed those who could have taken his place. Even a defeated people prefer rule on their own. You have won this battle, but you have done it by seeding the ground with resentment and bitterness. Some would call what I did gentle compared to the ways of our other brothers. Kurz, Mortarion, Angron, even the Khan, and fated Horus. Would you call what they have done preferable? They, began Dorn. You are certain that you are right, said Alpharius. But if you disdain me, then why not my maker? Why not our father? Or do you think my nature accident? Or him ignorant of what I do for him, what any of us do for him? You think he approves of your methods? He created us all, moulded the mysteries in our blood, put us to use as he needs, sees what we do, and yet chooses to do nothing. What does that tell you? That he expects us to see our flaws and overcome them, said Dorn. Yes. And how are you progressing with yours? Nothing moved in the chamber. Peck and Silonius glanced at each other, but Alpharius waited, unmoving, eyes unblinking. You will withdraw your forces from this world, said Dorn. All of them. The agents and their operatives too. I know that you use them, and I know how. I will be looking for them, and if I find any, they will not be spared. You will not find any, said Alpharius. Dorn shook his head, and began to turn towards the doors. Archamus moved with him. He could feel the pressure of his lord's anger, aching through the air like cold from a glacier. Dorn stopped at the doors and turned back. Your initial strikes were misdirected, he said to Alpharius. You infiltrated one hive and made it fall by systematic destabilizing of authority. But you should have waited. You could have used it as a node from which to disperse your human operatives and agents into the other hives. You managed that to a degree, but you could have forced a total collapse in their defenses across the planet, not just surrender by assassination. That move was also mistimed. Another 37 hours, and the pressure from our assault would have been eroding their ability to communicate. Secondary psychological fear, doubt, and confusion would have been rising to a peak. You could have ridden that, played and controlled its pace, forcing hives to fall or change sides at the exact moment when it would amplify whatever effect you wanted. What you did was effective, but it was not optimally so, by your own criteria. Dorn stared at Alpharius, but the Alpha Legion Primarch did not reply. I know you, brother, continued Dorn. It is not that I do not understand what you are, or what you do. I understand both. We are what we choose to be. Dorn turned and walked to the doors. Arcamus followed. For the Emperor, said Alpharius, as Dorn pushed the chamber doors wide. Dorn paused, then walked on, without looking back.